doesn't really matter what it is, you know, that's not really the point. Like it's about the fact that I am able to, or I choose to see the moreness of something. That is more the lesson for me than whatever it is that I'm choosing to love. And that was
Exactly.
like, wow, okay, you know, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And Beena and I were talking about that, and said actually that, you know, the first time I really have ever experienced that, just sort of overwhelming sense of unconditional love, was the first time I heard your heartbeat.
Right.
Um, and you didn't do anything.
Right. Right. And
Oh, that's cool.
no,
That's
right?
cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's
It was just like what I was saying with the trees, that the trees don't, as far as I know, the trees don't know that I love them and think they're great. And that's not necessary. You know, it's not necessary for the object, whatever it is, that it's kind of like the happiness concept to me of, it's not something out there contains love that I'm going to go find. It's, you know, what are the things in my environment that bring that up in me? And that doesn't require participation from, you know, or acknowledgement or whatever from whatever it is that I'm loving, because it's about me.
Worthiness, or you know, I mean, if it's another person, for instance, Phil, you know, it's not, he doesn't have to do something or be something
why.
that deserves my love. My
Correct.
love is there. I see his moreness despite what he does, you know, or despite
Yes. Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I was saying, you know, it's so bizarre to me that, and I don't understand really why, once you have had the experience of really experiencing that love, why don't you feel it across the board for everything, everybody?
Right.
But I don't. I mean, I don't know why, but I don't. And the
Prudence. That's why.
prudence. Well, okay.
Yeah, because you get eaten by the lion if you love it too much.
Well, you know,
That's why.
you have to be smart.
Appropriate.
But
Yeah.
Interesting.
it's just interesting. The two times in my life that I have really been consciously aware of loving someone unconditionally, and it doesn't matter what they do or don't do or whatever, is Erica and Phil, which
Wow. That's most interesting. That's most interesting.
two
Yeah.
people who are completely different, two relationships
Very, very different.
completely different.
Right.
And I understand why I had that experience with them.
And just because we love unconditionally, this does not mean that we have to be in a particular kind of a relationship.
Exactly.
Relationships and love have nothing to do with each other.
Well,
what kind of relationship are you in with that tree, Erika?
Right. Right.
And Beena and I talked about that too. That, you know, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't know why I have unconditional love for Phil, but that does not mean. I mean, I also have unconditional love for myself and for my family, and I'm not going to allow myself to be, or my family or the people I care about, to be in a situation that is hurtful.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I can love him unconditionally. Doesn't mean I have to be around him. You know?
Right.
Exactly. Oh, okay. You know, it's a simple thing that you're saying, but it's also profound. And it's usually magical. And I'm sure it gives Erika as much relief as it does me, and joy to hear you say that. Because, you know, love is a peculiar beast, and we have to understand its peculiarity, right? We have to be cognizant of it. We have to be aware of it, and understand its peculiarities and strangenesses. So,
Yeah,
and that's part of our growth is to be able to discern the peculiarities of love and not to get caught up in its strangeness. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
to maintain our discernment and our sensibility and
right.
not get corrupted. We can get corrupted by love. Actually, it's a peculiar thing, but we can, as you know.
But again, I mean, we're talking about all the different forms of love and our different understandings of love. Um,
Right. Right.
you know, when we're talking about an emotion, I'm not really talking about an emotion. I'm not talking about.
Talking about a what? Say again, please. Sorry.
I'm not talking about love being as an emotion. I think
Ah,
the emotion of love, or what we call love, can get you into a lot of trouble. And when you think that that's what love is, um, you can end up making some really bad choices. You
I
know,
was
yes.
I was thinking about that last night, actually, about I was thinking about love again and about what I think love is. And I was thinking, the biggest thing for me that I'm still working to kind of define for myself is what is capital L love, because
Yeah.
99%,
Yeah.
moreness.
right, 99.9% of what I have experienced, I don't know that I would call that capital L love. You know what I mean? Like that emotion that we call love, I don't know or have any way to prove that that has really anything to do with capital L love. It may not be.
Wow.
I don't think it has.
So,
Wow.
right. So, so that's where I keep going around and around with, okay, how do I figure out what capital L love really means? Because I don't know
Wow.
that my experience of what I would call love has anything to do with that. So what do I think capital L love really is? What does it encompass? What does it entail? Whatever. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's such a hard thing to nail down and define, because it's something that we think we all understand, but when you really get down to it, how do you define that? How do you distinguish between the two? So that was where, for me, it was like, okay, if I'm taking the emotion that I call love and try to elevate that to, the highest concept that I am aware of, does that give me a starting point? And that was where I started thinking about, seeing the moreness of something else, and the trees and everything. Okay, if that has something to do with capital L love, then what does that mean? So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that it's so hard to nail down as a concept for me, because I am not convinced at all at this point that what I think love is has anything to do with capital L love.
Wow.
Interesting. What Kay was sharing.
I can't hear you, Mom.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I can see your lips moving.
Really?
Yep, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Loud? Does it make it better?
Maybe.
Okay, I'll try to shout.
So please say what you were saying.
Well, okay. So I read this to Beena, The Alchemist, and I think it's just really. He's the part where he's talking to the sun. He's trying to turn the wind. The creation had stopped before man. Did. Well, okay. So he says before that, he says, this is the boy. When you are loved,
I can't. That was a really loud noise. Couldn't hear you. When you are loved. Thing.
Loved understand what is happening because everything happens within you. If you know about love, you must also know about the soul of the world because it is made of love. And then he talks about the creation and how the sun thinks that man shouldn't have good. And
Right.
so the boy says, if there hadn't been a sixth day, man would not exist. Proper legend, but one day that personal legend will be realized. So each thing has to transform itself into something better and to acquire a new personal legend until someday the soul of the world becomes one thing only. This is why alchemy exists, so that everyone will search for his treasure, find it, and then want to be that around us becomes, because it's not love to be static like the desert, nor is it love to roam the world like the wind. And it's not love to see everything from a distance like you do. I'm talking to the sun. Love is the force that transforms and improves the soul.
Transformation is a consequence of being loved. So this is something really interesting here, because I'm just going there again, because as we were sharing before, getting to the core question, for me, it's a huge deal. That, okay, it is a consequence that we get transformed, we get this transformation, we evolve, we grow, we learn, because we are being loved. We can be loved by universe only, if not by anyone else. But the only universe. And if we understand that universe loves us, and universe is actually pouring love on us, then we actually get evolved, we actually grow. We don't need any other human for that. But it is a consequence of being loved, or in being in love. It's a consequence, not love in itself. When he says that love is a force, this is the real core for me, that when he says that love is, okay, we can say that force is a bit harsh word for that. So for me, okay, it's an energy. So love is energy. And how we get this energy? So when we feel, okay, I'm going back to my post again, that about love, as Erica said, capital L, love. How we get this energy? Because this energy has to be emitted from someone, or perhaps from some source to get love from. So how we get this energy? We get this energy when we feel our maximum or real self. Again, for me, when we feel ourself at our maximum or our real true self, we emit this energy, which is love. And then this energy help us to transform.
Very interesting.
Yes. So now because you brought this for us, okay, and now it makes a whole connection. Now it is actually, the connections are making up, because I was a reluctant one to use the word love. You know that, the history about that, and Erica also, that, oh no, and love is, and unconditional, oh God, it's a huge deal. I cannot use that. I'm a reluctant one to use that word. And interesting, Erica, that you mentioned also that, like, love or unconditional or capital L love.
Right.
This is the thing. it is not really an ordinary thing to just, okay, spread it like I use it like a tissue paper. No, it is a precious thing, and it's very huge and very transformative. Not only for the other person I will give my unconditional love to, or anything, or universe, but also for me, it is transformative.
Right.
When I accept, when I acknowledge that, it means that I'm not only emitting energy outside, but this energy is going to transform me also. Being a vessel of that energy is a huge deal. How can I accept that without having the capacity to be like this? Now the dots are connected for me. And thank you so much, Kay, to walk us in this topic. And I read this Alchemist in a very peculiar way, as all in my life, how things happen. But actually, I didn't understand that part when I was reading that, because I just said that, oh God, I always looking for a manual for life and always complaining about why life doesn't come with a manual. And this is the manual, every single line. And I was like, close the book. I got it. Now I understand, because I love the simplicity of this book.
Great.
The profoundness and the simplicity.
No,
No big fancy words, just getting to the core, addressing the core point, and then making it bigger, which is so beautiful. And I just love that Sil is making a course out of it, which is again so beautiful. And I would love to experience that course.
yes.
And Erica,
Oh, it's coming soon. Coming soon.
and Erica, as you shared about moreness, okay, which I missed in the first, because I never heard from anyone else before. I just missed that before Kay, because she brought this, the moreness. Love is actually acknowledging. Loving someone is acknowledging their moreness, which is a huge deal. You were saying that. Now I understand that. But it was in a bit not so clear, obvious way, because you said that love is a consequence of choice. Of course, when I'm choosing you, it is something that I'm seeing a value in that, in you or in anything. It means that I'm acknowledging the moreness. It was a roundabout way, but of course it was there. But today's session, Kay, you rock, really. I really enjoyed that, because you brought so many things in that. And I shared my post about the love. It was a very lengthy one for me, because I don't like to talk and write much about these things. I'm really, really frugal about words in those things. But I shared with Kay that what it is and what we were sharing. Sorry, Kay, you are mute again, I guess.
Said maybe you'll have an evolution or a transformation concerning your
Yes. Yes.
Every day, Kay. Every day in every way. Especially when we're on Zoom, we just constant evolution on Zoom. It's fabulous.
Absolutely.
It's fabulous.
Absolutely.
We benefit so much.
So I have
So magical.
to take care of Sarah.
All right. Bye-bye, Kay. Bye-bye, Kay.
Okay.
Fabulous, Kay. So magical. And do take care. Even though, yes, you are past it, this time is a time of care, right?
Yes, I agree.
Right,
Sil
Kay?
was
Okay.
positive nurse for you. He was so diligent and so persistent in his intent for you to, okay, it's not gonna be a big deal for Kay.
So,
It's going to be all right. He will just keep compounding it.
yeah, for another week, for another 10 days or so, right, Kay?
I am.
We have to keep this going for about another 10 days or so, right?
I am very.
Yeah. By the way, can you get it again once you've had it, or are you now immune?
Sort of in question, I think. I don't think anybody knows anything, really. So I'm just
So be vigilant. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm so pleased to see you healthy and alive and at peace and at joy and evolving with the learning and growing and immersed in it. It's too fabulous. Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
All right. Sarah's ready to go.
Bye-bye, Kay. All right. Bye-bye, Sarah. Hello,
Wow.
Erica Jane. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, 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 hello. Oh man,
Sorry,
just so
sorry.
happy. Happy New Year.
One more time, Sil. Sorry, but this is how Zoom is working. When someone is talking, the other all the voices and sounds and everything is suppressed. So when you have something in
Yeah.
your background, it makes Erica and Kay and me like, completely mute.
Oh, so I must mute again. I'll mute myself more diligently then. All right, all right,
This is what I'm saying.
all right.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So no, 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 no problem. So let me try something. Here we go. Here, I'm gonna go mute. And
Oh,
oh,
oh.
oh.
No,
No, I need to be muted on the. I was doing it on the laptop. I need to mute on the phone because I'm using the headset via the phone. So, all
Okay.
right, I'll pay attention. I'll pay attention. Yeah, I'm in a pretty quiet spot, but occasionally somebody drives by. So, it doesn't sound loud to me. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Beena. I didn't realize it was affecting things. So, okay,
That was the problem
so
before.
be.
It was just
Yeah, and
background.
you can as well. Just sit on that mute button there on my mute. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Before you
All right.
guys
So I
carry
got to put the
on, one more thing to
yeah.
discuss. When Kay came and she was so energetic and like really happy and excited, and she started sharing. And then it's a confession time, Erica. I have to make this really. I made a mistake on that. She was sharing about Phil, and she shared about the unconditional love, and she was sharing about, and I was so excited someone actually can feel that unconditional love for other than their own children, because with children you have a different feeling because they are part of your body, and even if
Mm,
the cord is not connected, the etherical cord is still connected. So okay, it makes sense. But when someone can actually feel that unconditional love for someone, it was just I just slipped out of my mind that I should not be in that situation to say that. I simply said that, yeah, wow, okay, this is so amazing that Phil is not really a person who everybody can assume that, okay, someone can be in that. And she said, uh, but Beena, he is a good person. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed, and I simply apologized for Kay. Okay, I'm so sorry because this is something I just got the perspective from my own understanding.
Right.
This is what I said to her, and I said, okay, I'm sorry because I need to be more open for that. I somehow got this idea in my mind.
wow, Beena.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
because it was so excitement, and I was so excited at the time. The excitement was like about unconditional love, and we were discussing, and somehow I just said that, and when she said that, Beena,
You said what, Beena? I'm missing this. You said what, and what idea did you have in your mind?
this is so amazing, Kay, that you feel that unconditional love for someone, okay, and not only for one person who is your daughter, but also for another person. And then she says, yes, Beena, this is so exciting. And when we were discussing, I said that, and it is really, really amazing that you feel that unconditional love, which is not
Mm,
connected to that person's goodness at all. If he
mm.
is, or okay, but he is not so admirable person. And I was like, oh my God, I made a blunder here. What I did, and
What was the Erica Jane? Are you confused like me? What was the blunder exactly?
saying is that she was assuming that Phil was not a good person, and Mom said, "I
Ah, ah,
is a good person."
yes,
But
yes,
for me, so this is an interesting. I every time Mom says that she feels unconditional love for Phil, it brings up I cannot even describe an innumerable amount.
yeah.
yes.
Same here, same here, same here. It,
I think for me, the biggest change
yeah.
I am trusting, really trusting in her now as a result of this change, because there's nothing else I can do.
Yes,
And
beautiful,
although
beautiful.
she continues to maintain that she has this unconditional love for him, um,
Yes,
that she's saying that doesn't mean that I need to be around him.
looking.
That is the key,
Yes,
because I think way, way, way deep down in there, there is a good person there. I mean, I feel that about everyone. I think
Way deep down, yes, way, way.
Hitler was a good person too, right? There's some really evil, horrible people.
Yeah,
Way deep down,
Yeah.
Trump is a good person too.
yeah,
But that is buried so much
yeah,
under
yeah, yeah,
all of this other stuff that is really
yes,
problematic. I think in
yes,
my experience,
yes,
what I have seen in my
yeah, yeah,
lifetime with my mom is that she and I mean, this is probably a beautiful gift and also a curse if you don't have the level of awareness that a really beautiful gift for seeing the goodness in people, things, situations that it's much harder for the rest of us to see that in initially. And I think in the past that has gotten her into a lot of trouble because she sees the goodness in people that don't have good intentions, and it has caused her to get swept up in a lot of nonsense. But I think the really encouraging thing for me now is seeing that she is gaining the awareness necessary to make that an appropriate gift. You know, you can see
yes,
the goodness in someone and
Yes.
also not get swept along in their nonsense.
Hmm.
So I
yeah,
think that is, you know, it always just really makes me, I mean, it is really triggering, to be honest, to hear her say all the time that she has this unconditional love for Phil, because it
Exactly.
concerns me greatly that this means that she's going to get swept back up in it. But I think at this point, seeing her evolution with her awareness around love and around that those feelings that she has for him, and being able to separate that from her actions or what she's doing habitually is really encouraging. And so at this point, I'm just in a place of trust that she has reached a point of
Exactly.
that that's not going to be an issue for her.
Yes. So I was feeling that, okay, I must not, because it was something organically. I feel that, and I said that. It is not like, okay, I got your perspective. It
Right.
was something that I understand through the actions and the consequent incidents happening. Okay, of course, I don't want to okay, as this is what maximum I feel that anyone can do. Other than that, she has all the rights to make her own choices, of course, which is really interesting that she was so excited. She is aware of that, but I really don't want to personally. It is again for me only. It could be totally wrong.
Right.
I really want to wait and see that after that transformation she had, after all this awareness, what decisions she make now, she will make, and without being influenced by anyone's perspective.
Right. Me too. I'm very curious to see.
and it is something that's really,
Oh, please, you'll
yeah.
continue.
You- I was gonna say something really, really huge here, very magical. In the same way as Kay said, what a gift of self-proof,
Mhm.
Yes.
Phil coming. It is a proof that for her to be able to hold on to her newfound piece of being,
Mhm.
this magical piece of life that she's found, this balance. And also, it is an opportunity for her to prove her discernment and perspective, and all sorts of other magical things. for likewise an opportunity to self-prove our ability to trust in another
Mhm.
and to let them be.
Right.
To let them be. This is her business, not ours. That's it. So this is very powerful for us. Plus, it is that trust in intent, trust in goodness.
Right.
And this is a big, big deal. So it's us as well as her. Yes. I mean, I have no doubts, none whatsoever, not a single one, that Kay will do and be sensible in all of this.
Mhm.
I just cannot see any way that she and Phil would get together. And I actually think if Phil tries, it would be an even bigger gift for her because it would be massively counterproductive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she mentioned that
So,
Erica has a different perspective about him, and that
yeah.
yes, everybody need to share with you guys before you Erica, or with Kay.
Right.
I was like, okay, I didn't say, of course, I didn't say anything bad about him, of course, but the perspective, the impression was like, okay, no, he is not someone very likable to in this situation. That I was feeling that, honestly, I was feeling about that unconditional love is a huge deal. So
Mhm.
my whole attention was on unconditional love, not on him. So it was all about unconditional love, and it triggers so many things in my mind. Okay, so back to business, and now we can carry
Yeah.
on.
But no worries, Beena. You know, honesty is what we do. And that's it. You know,
Uh,
just because your opinion of Phil differs from Kay's, that's not a problem. You know, yes, we try
Exactly.
we try not to share our opinions, but nonetheless, you know, in
and
this case, we have good reason not to think Phil is not particularly nice or good person.
it was not personally directly towards Phil. I simply said that this is so amazing that
Yeah,
person can feel unconditional love
yeah,
for people other than their own blood
yeah,
relations.
yeah,
This is something really. And then I said,
yeah,
okay, he is not really my good person in that. So
yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Say again, please, Erica. You were saying.
Oh no, I think I mean I she is aware, she's well aware that
Yeah.
I think she is likely the only person on the planet that would tell you that he's a good person.
And that's good.
She is,
That's so magic. Yeah.
she's aware that that is an unpopular opinion. And I mean, it's interesting because I think she has experienced um she's just had a very different experience with him than I have, than anyone else has. Um, she has seen a side of him that no one else has. And I think that is part of what, leads her to really feel that there is goodness, palpable goodness, there that she has seen and experienced. That just the rest of us, as you said, we're all having different experiences. And in her experience, she has seen that. And the rest of us have not. We've seen, only the BMN surface stuff. So, I don't doubt, I certainly don't intend to insinuate that I think she's wrong in feeling that he is good, right? In her experience, he absolutely has exhibited goodness. And like I said, I do believe that there is goodness in there. Just for me, it's buried under many, 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 many layers of other nonsense. And I think for her it is too, but she experienced his
Yeah,
goodness
yeah,
in a very
yeah,
different way than
yeah.
any
And
other.
I do feel that I have an understanding of how that comes about. You know, having witnessed them firsthand, there will be the rare occasions they slip into their childlike side.
Right,
It tends to be a childish side. But when they slip deep down into that side, it's like that aspect of them. It very rarely comes out, but every now and then it does. But it is just an aspect. You can't lose sight of the fact that it is a very small percentage of them. It's not them. It's
right,
only an aspect. But
right,
when you see that, they are pure child.
right.
They are pure child. They are pure child. And this will dang it, sorry, the trucks. They will so potently and directly and precisely appeal to your maternal or paternal side,
Right.
because that is what's coming out. And in that times when they do this, they are phenomenally lost.
Mm,
And so when you see them like this, in that lostness and that innocence, you can't help but love them
right.
and feel an empathy and a sympathy and a pity almost for them. But that same love you have for a lost child, it's the exact same love that comes out. So it's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. So
Well,
yeah.
I have said to Mom that honestly, in many ways, that has kind of been the point that I've reached with Phil. That I really don't have any anger for him anymore. It is
Yeah.
really like pity. I genuinely feel sorry
Ah,
that he is
yeah,
living this existence that
yeah.
is so, I mean,
Hellish.
he's truly in his own world. And, it's just, I'm sure it's a miserable existence. And I genuinely feel sorry for him. But I think, like I said, I think for me, the biggest thing is, I mean, I've seen this behavior in my mom basically her entire life, of seeing the goodness in people and sort of choosing almost to focus on that and ignore a lot of the other stuff. And so I think it's encouraging for me
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this
yeah.
new awareness that she has, that it's okay to acknowledge the negative aspects of this person.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that you're being negative or mean or bad or whatever, to acknowledge that these things exist.
Exactly.
And it's okay for you to love someone and choose to not be around them all the time. I mean, that hearing her say that gives me hope that there really is
Hmm.
there is a real palpable, tangible change.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And this is the big test for Kay. And I
Right.
do feel she's aware of this. Should she fail this test, she's going to go right back one moment.
And I shared with Kay the concept of way of impactability as giving respect, and
Uh-huh.
it was because for me, it's better than unconditional love. If you cannot feel that, if a person feels, this is a good thing, but if a person cannot, like me, then giving due respect. And I don't know, it was like in a flow, I mentioned that in detail. What is giving due respect? Okay, I can give you, and then it was with examples and everything we discussed. Which is I feel that, which was good. It was absolutely appropriate to discuss these things, just to refresh, just to bring that awareness in forefront of our forehead. That okay, yes, this is about giving due respect. And Kay, actually, she shared some incident in her life where Phil actually shows his being that. And of course, everybody will love that if you see some gestures and everything. And she shared that. It was like, okay. And she was just or perspective about him. So it was not in conversation, just to he is a person also.
Right.
And I saw that goodness. And also she shared that Phil was upset, really getting mad, because she loved everything and everyone. And he said that this is not something really ordinary. You just love your kids, you teach in your school, and everything about that too. Just like really amazing that a person can be so loving, so giving. And this is how that Phil is having these blessings in his life.
Right. Yeah, that was one of the things that used to bother him to no end. He tried to, he consistently, the entire time they were married, tried to isolate her from
Mm.
everything else that she loved because he wanted to be the sole object.
Oh.
And, you know, he didn't want her spending up at school working on anything outside of normal teaching hours. He tried to drive a wedge between her and me. He very successfully and easily drove a wedge between her and my grandma because there was already tension there. And I mean, it was really amazing to watch him just, I mean, he would stop at nothing to make it where she was his and his alone. And
Mm.
and it is really interesting that someone can't grasp the concept that just because they love other things doesn't mean that they love me less. But that was definitely his.
So,
Yeah.
so let me get in a little bit of real moreness discernment here. In the same way as we discussed humility as being a
Mm-mm. He's
Oh,
dropping.
still muted.
Oh, so you muted yourself?
Yeah, there was a.
no, I did a double tap accidentally.
Okay. Okay.
In the same way as humility was
That's.
being the same inverse ego issue.
Mhm.
And I do feel it's something that it hasn't quite come up yet, but it will at some point.
Right.
To be
Right.
aware that because it's a very conscious and deliberate thing for her. So, okay, I don't want to say it is so. I want to bring it up as a question, of course, that she can consider it so that she can make the adjustment. But I do think it's in process, but that's something that does need to surface into awareness at some point. Yes?
With that, and I think and that's one of the reasons that I think it's interesting, and I thought it was interesting to hear her say that she um when I said I sort of question whether the love, the emotion that I'm familiar with really has anything to do with capital L love, that she said, I don't think it does, because I think that's a really interesting distinction for her to make, because I think in her experience, she equates loving something with being good, right? To your point. So I think that is kind of her ego humility thing, is that in order to be a good person, I should love everything. And it's not, it's bad to
Yes.
not love.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think she has always had the propensity to see the positive things in things, to see the goodness of something.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Yes.
clear that it's a beautiful gift, but without the proper awareness, it can be a real problem. And I think it has been that for her for most of her life, that, it's a beautiful thing to really be able to see and focus on the positive sides of things and the good side of things so easily. But when that's done in a way that sort of ignores the other things that come along with it because you feel that it's bad for you to acknowledge. Oh, my frozen? Nice.
No, we can hear you and we can see you.
I can't, you're muted again, Sil, so I can't see what you're saying.
No, I can see
Uh,
and I can hear you. No problem.
no, I was just showing you the picture that when I'm looking here, I'm not ignoring you instead of looking over there. I'm watching you on the phone. You see, so because if I sit like this, I have the window open on the other side to get a cross breeze. Otherwise, it gets hot in here very quickly. So it's very pleasant actually. So, but now I'm looking at you right over here, so very close as well.
Yeah, to come out of Sil's picture. Every time
Yeah, but
we talk, Oh,
I said to Beena, please change it, but no, she said no. I want to be sold for a bit. So okay, so
so
feel
funny.
free to change it anytime, Beena. You can just change it to like a landscape or a flower or something, a bee maybe. Or,
No, because I want him to use his picture
yeah,
and
yeah,
his
yeah,
So,
yeah. Hold on, Erica Jane. Hold on. What's this now? What's this now?
oh, nice. It's like how
We've got the whole squad of souls right now. I want to add one point onto what you were saying. Very important. I feel Kay's perception of loving and her connectivity to it is not just something that you need to do because it makes you a good person. Also, and this is where the slight bit of that inverse ego comes in, there is a connectivity to seeing it as something that makes you a nice person. And
absolutely, I agree.
that's a
Yeah,
different point. When you are deliberately making an effort to be a nice person, it's not conscious. It's not a manipulation the way it is with Phil. It is that deep innate, or not innate, deep inadvertentness of it that comes about. And in the same way as when we discussed it with humility and modesty, that we realize, oh my goodness, crikey, I'm kind of tricking myself here. And I think this is a little bit of it in the case. Now, of course, there is case innate goodness, but there's that aspect of it also. Yeah.
that
So it's important. It's very important. It's very important.
for me, I definitely see the connectivity there and how you sort of need to be mindful of the potential connection to ego with
Yeah.
love involved, because that was, I mean, for me,
Yes. Yes.
the whole thing with the trees and what kind of originally made me go down the whole love is a fruit of choice thing was, I was standing there in the park looking up at these trees that I love so much and thinking about the fact that I love these trees. And I'm looking around and, there's other people in the park and they're like jogging by or they're doing whatever. And no one is really paying attention to the trees. And I'm thinking about, I must look like a total weirdo, standing underneath this tree, like going, oh, this tree. But that's what made me think, okay, is the reason, is the love that I feel sort of my reward for choosing to see the moreness of the tree? Why do I love the tree? Because I can see the moreness of it. And so am I being given the reward of love as a result of my choice to see the moreness of the tree? And that was where, for me, it was like, okay, love is my reward. It doesn't really have anything to do with whatever the object of my appreciation is. It's mine. It is the reward that I get to feel. But that can definitely introduce some connection with ego if you start saying, well, oh, I chose to see the moreness of this and look at how good I am. And
I,
be careful and aware of the fact that that can be an
yes.
opportunity for ego
Yes.
to say, oh,
Yes.
okay, I'm going to jump in here. So yeah, that's an important point.
A constant vigilance is required, in other words, when it comes to our motivations
Right.
of and reasons
Right.
as to why we are doing things, particularly when it comes to love.
Yeah, that's an
Particularly,
excellent point. And it's
yeah,
interesting
yeah,
that kind of asking yourself, why do I love this? Did I choose to love this? Was this a choice? Why do I feel this way? Doing the based on what on yourself with love is a really interesting thing
yeah,
because if you can say, no, I really see the moreness of this, and I'm not choosing to appreciate the moreness of this thing so that I can feel better about myself. It just is, you know, I just do. I see this kind of questioning your own based on what with love is an important thing.
It's absolutely critical that based on what
This,
we are doing.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was just saying that when you pull that about the ego, that okay, it's a subtle ego, it's an inverse ego involved in that, loving someone unconditionally and insisting on seeing the moreness. When we were discussing about Kay bring that about the transformation, and she said that the transformation is like, because she is reading Alchemist, so she said she got the analogy again that okay, turning lead into gold. So she said that in very particular, in the specific words, that transformation to be like, okay, you have to melt and burn and go through the fire, and then you transform. And I said that still always say that it's all about the perspective, because the human life is all about trying to make life simple. But when it comes to evolution, comes to transformation, we somehow get attached to the idea of that the transformation needs to be really horrible, hard, tough, rude, and all these things. And she said, yes. And I said, because that we are using the analogy of metals. Maybe for metals, melting down is a fun thing. Why we are comparing ourselves to metals? It could be. We are human, we are different species.
And
So why?
Yeah.
She told me that same thing over the phone, and about talking about heat. And I remember she said when it was talking about heat being the mechanism
Yes.
for doing the transmutation, she said
Yeah.
for me, I see that as like challenges. You know, you're going to be kind of put to the flame or whatever. And I remember I said at the time, I hear heat, I think energy.
Yeah.
Heat is not necessarily something, not necessarily for burning. It's like
Right.
energy. Heat is energy. It's something that's energized.
Yeah, it's just a particular form of energy. Exactly.
Yeah. So I said that I'm just repeating that all these things, because when she shared that, and I feel that why we do that, why we try to make transformations so big deal and so difficult and so going through fire and all these things. And I said maybe it is because that we have some sort of ambition in our minds that, oh, I will going to be like this and I'm going to do this to show all other people that look what I have done, look what I, and this is how my life is, and that all these things. And she said, yes, this could be an ego thing. And now you bring up, Sil, about the ego in love also, which is again related to that thing that we have some also
Right.
ego.
It's more the ego connected to loving rather than love itself, right?
Yes,
It's more
yes,
about
yes,
loving. Yeah.
yes, yes. It's so
Very
amazing.
cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very magical. Wow, very potent. I've been really enjoying your video, Erica, and I need to apologize, by the way.
For what?
My mic seems to be very loud, and I will say yes, yes, yes. And during the video, it's very loud. My yes. Sorry, I thought I was irritating you, but it doesn't sound loud to me on the video. It's very loud. So sorry. Yeah, my doesn't get better of me. I'm so excited. You know, it's very cool. Really getting a lot out of it also. So it's very good. Very cool. Very cool. So,
I kind of understand you.
say again.
We're breaking up a bit, but
Say again.
I think it's better now.
Oh, I was just saying that I was saying yes very loudly, and I didn't mean to say it so loudly. I think my mic was set up too high. So it just came out very loud on the video. My enthusiasm came across, but that's all right. I will follow up on that this Friday. I don't know if this Friday we'll be able to, but I do want to. I want to hear Sue's list and Beena's list and my list and Donna's list and everybody's list. Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
For sure.
Yeah. So sit on us to finish that,
Okay.
that list. Yeah. So by the way, I noticed the phone's video is not quite the same as the laptop's video. I was telling Beena the phone, not so sure on this video yet. It's a little harsh. A little harsh. what can you do? What can you do?
It's all good.
Say again, Erica?
It's
Yeah,
all
all good. Yeah. Where are we and where are you and Joe? How did everything work out with everything? I don't know. It just seems like there's space for updates.
Things are good. And I have not forgotten about the extra payment, by the way. I keep meaning to tell you. And we still are working out the payment with the roofers, which is what
that's what I figured. So Erica, I was really thinking about this. Please only do that if it will cause no stress whatsoever.
right. Well, that's
it.
what I was gonna say, was we were trying to get past the roofing payment to make sure that out Joe said, we had a really, really bad experience with you guys. And they charged us like some fee for basically the privilege of doing business with them because they consider themselves like a premium company. Saying,
Bloody hell.
And so he like that with the boss of the guy that was supposed to be here that wasn't, and so they've been working out the payment. So as soon as we get a final figure on what we're going to end up owing, then we can figure out how much we'll be able to send over. So I haven't forgotten about it.
We'll thank you, sweet Erica. Thank you. Truly, makes my heart happy. But I'm not under pressure. I'm trying to be cautious and be a bit preemptive. So I put it out there as in case. Okay, so it's a magical adventure that I'm on. So I do absolutely trust, and it's quite magical. So again, it's not critical, but it would be a good. At the same time, please make sure that there's absolutely no stress involved. None, zero, and particularly not any stress between you and Joe on this. Finance and money is the most sensitive thing in relationships, and I am very cautious when it comes to it. Right? So if you smell any hint of possibility, drop it completely. I mean, like completely, right?
Right.
Please. I mean, I appreciate this, but it's really important to me. This has to be a completely no stress, no worries. Okay, not a worry. And again, the way the things have the time is I really do. I appreciate that. It's very magical, very magical. All right, where are we? I'm excited to continue. I also mean to say, Erika, as soon as this little episode and I'm shifted and things are more or less stable again, I am looking for us to maybe accelerate a little bit on the PSP program.
Sure.
It is a front loaded program. So it's this cone, that you start from the fat end and move to the point. And that we don't need to do it so thoroughly the more we go on, that we can go a little quicker as we get toward the end of it. And not that I don't enjoy doing them with you the way we are. It's just that I am keen to move on to other things. I'm happy to just take every week as it comes and do this for however long it comes, for the next how many ever years. I don't care. Forever, I don't care. It's fabulous. It's magical. But I am excited to get onto other stuff. I'm sort of rushing a little bit. I'm the keen one to move
I
on.
know.
So it's not about moving on. It's just I'm excited. I'm excited, and I don't want to lose our excitement. So in like next week or so, we'll definitely try and make this effort to ramp it up a little bit. Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Very exciting. Very exciting. Because that's the nature of the PSP program. It does mean there is a necessity to get to a point where it's kind of a little boring,
Right.
but we do it anyway.
Right.
That's the magic of it, that we get to de-emphasize it into a boringness. So there is a magic to doing something that well, a little boring. There is a reason for it. But yeah, we're getting so much mileage already, and I feel the comprehension is there. And if we go through the rest of the program and maybe doing 2 or 3 modules, not sure, 2 or 3 modules per session, this will be enough of that boringness and that whole matter of fact of it. That it's no longer like, oh wow, this is a new revelation, a new point. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, I get it. Right? We want to get to that point, but it is important that we have a little bit of boring. Okay, yeah, it's very interesting, very, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not most fun, but very, very, very like in this particular case, especially. Coming too close on this phone here disturbs me a little bit. All right.
There we go. Now, okay. That was a little rough there for a while. It was doing the thing,
Oh.
but I could understand.
All right. It does it. Yeah, yeah. It does it with me every now and then also. And I don't think it's a function of my territory. So I don't know. It's a peculiar thing I've noticed. Because I get it when I'm on a stable internet too sometimes. So
Right, right.
not quite sure what the logic is.
I don't know.
Zoom has been a little problematic the last couple of days. So
Yeah.
must be upgrading something.
Uh,
So where are we, Eric? Where are we?
oh boy. Okay. So I think we got all the way through the one-up session. Let me make sure. Yes, we did.
We were
Okay.
close. We were close. Yeah.
We are on Module 9, Session 4, which is ganging up. And my repeat back for this session was, for a BMN, facing the awful truth about themselves is something to be avoided at all costs. When they are called on their BS, or when they encounter someone on whom their normal tactics don't work, they will take extreme measures if necessary to convince themselves that their superiority is still intact, often roping in sometimes unwilling accomplices to prove their point.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
the exercise questions on this session were, I don't know if it was just, I don't think it was just the training, because I started to do this a while back, answered a couple, answered like 1 or 2, and the other questions I was like, oh man, nothing's coming to me right off the bat. I'm not sure that question. I came back to it and I still didn't get all the way through. For some reason, the questions in this exercise were really difficult for me. So I answered a couple of them, and then I've left the rest to just keep ruminating on. And then I went ahead and moved forward to the next session. So.
Brilliant. All right. So on the questions, let's actually start with the questions you didn't answer.
Gosh.
And Beena and I will ask questions about the question.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why these, it just, normally when I'm doing the questions right after every question, that just comes up and I'm like, okay. And these, I was like, okay, I'm trying to think of a really specific answer and nothing is coming to me. So it'll be interesting to see if anything comes up now instead. Okay, so for starting with the ones that I didn't answer. Let's stick around here. What are our strategic intents when revealing BSers and BMNs or not doing so? What are the ethical complications?
Say again, please. What are our strategic?
What are our strategic intents when revealing BSers and BMNs or not doing so? What are the ethical complications?
And when not doing so?
No, what are our strategic intents when revealing not doing so?
It is dealing with. Yeah.
Oh.
See, I'm just going to copy this.
Revealing, not
I don't know.
dealing.
Yes.
I copied the question into the chat.
Yes.
When revealing. Yes. Okay. So this is a powerful question here, because first of all, let me ask you: is it an intent to reveal a BS or a BMN for you, Rebecca?
Is it my intent?
Or just in general, both for you personally and just as a general tactical strategy? Do we in general want to go about revealing a BS or a BMN?
I think it depends. I mean, it depends on
Exactly.
each situation.
Exactly. And there's your answer. So that's your strategic intent, is to be appropriate, no?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of, kind of examples of and didn't really think of any. Yeah, I mean, what are our strategic intents when revealing BSers? That was, I mean, for me, I did of revealing a BSer or BMN, I think is completely situational. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of, I think that was why I kind of went around and around this question, because I think for me, it depends. I don't know that I could identify a specific strategic intent for revealing a BSer. I think in not doing so, certainly a strategic intent would be avoiding potential inappropriate kind of blowback or chaos that would be created as
Yeah.
of doing that. Is it worth it in that case, or is it not appropriate necessarily at this time? It may be appropriate later, but right now, being aware of the fact that revealing creates a lot of this chaos. But yeah, strategic intents for revealing BSers or BMNs, I think is completely situationally dependent upon the individual BMN and the actual situation itself.
Exactly. And then, as to a strategic intent when it comes to revealing them, sometimes if a BMN is really egregious, or they've gotten it into their, for instance, Phil, where he believes that he has the upper hand and you just a easy target and you can easily be pushed around, and well, you've changed. Now you have to say, and you let him know in many ways, and he doesn't get it, and he doesn't want to get it. He doesn't want to give up this idea of his hierarchy and superiority. So he keeps persisting in his nonsense. And now this is your only real mechanism for doing so. However, typically, we can reveal them in a one-on-one situation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very valuable because now they suddenly get, oh, crikey, crapola. If they see this about me and they can do this, and we do so with that queuing to say, yeah, you go. I see what you're all about. Yeah, I'm just telling you straight now. Keep this up, and I'll do this in public.
Right, right.
Now, of course, if they do keep it up, then because sometimes they are just incredibly obtuse and they get stuck in their stuff, well, sorry, dude. Now there's no other way around. So there are strategic intents when it is that they are overstepping the boundaries of egregiousness.
Right.
When they get into a mode where they will specifically go after you and target you and hound you, and it's like their thing almost. And now you have to just collapse that bubble and put an end to it. And then they might still continue to do it, but you are not doing it to necessarily get rid of their behavior, because that might not end, but the consequence and the effect on others.
Right.
Once it's revealed, others are just like, ugh, there Phil goes with his nonsense again. He's got a thing with Erica, and okay. And now, he just makes it counterproductive with everybody else. And at some point, they do realize this, and then it stops. So this is very, very potent. But the strategic intent of revealing someone, it's like using violence, really, as a
Mhm.
warrior. It's your absolute last resort. Yes,
Right.
absolute last resort. Yeah.
Still, if we take it, okay, other than from any local example like Phil or anyone else, like, okay, we have a president here in US, and he is, okay, it seems like. So when it comes to revealing him, and I saw that, I observed that his supporters are actually literally trying to blow up every reveals about him, like everything. They have this thing about him, like, okay, see, this is what is happening. And when it comes to personal interaction with any BMN, it is not actually emotional blackmailing they do. It is actually emotional arm twisting they do, and you have to be really careful about that, because they have this skill to change everything, to shift everything, and manipulate any situation, anything in their own favor, because somehow they are just so focused, hyper focused to getting results, and getting results in their favor. So you have to be really strategic, because sometimes the most profound revelation could be like something more bigger than that, and you cannot go to their limits. So for me, I guess that to reveal or not reveal, even in both situations, you have to be really, really strategic when these type of people, because they know all the tactics.
Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, we have to use sophisticated techniques. We have to intend that they reveal themselves.
Mhm.
This has
Yes.
been a long-standing intent of mine with Trump, that he
Yes.
reveals himself. This is, to me, I can't see a better remedy or a actually an effective alternative.
Right.
This, I feel, is the most necessary one. So, sometimes there's just, we have to trust and hope and intend alternative remedies. So yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Very powerful. All right. So what's the next question? That answers that question.
And
I mean, it's sort of a bit of a, what I mean?
so okay, there was a big lag there and it cut out a little bit. I don't know if you're
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm just trying to put the phone where it's not. I think the vehicle itself may interfere with the signal.
Hmm.
So I'm just kind of leveraging it on the windowsill here to see if it's
Okay.
better.
Well, I didn't catch what you were saying there.
Oh, I was just saying that it's a bit of a dirt question. And it's a bit of a simple, obvious to this concept of reveal that it's not an obvious thing to answer. And I think I was a little bit too successful in that.
I got the
So,
gist of
well,
Mhm.
yeah, all right.
okay. All right. I'm gonna go to the next one. because I can't really tell. I'm not sure what's being.
Yeah.
Go to the next question.
I am here. I am here. I'm just trying different spots, but it seems like the one spot works the best, so I'll just put it back there. But it makes it difficult for me to mute it, so
Oh.
I'm just kind of sticking my head away from the window when the traffic comes. So
Oh.
I'm gonna try cover up the headset. Does that mute the mic a little bit?
Maybe.
Am I softer now?
Oh yes. Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out.
All right.
Okay, so the next question was, how does holding fast to our energy intents and having disciplined attention to attention factor into scenarios where we are under attack with falsity, distortion, and lies?
Oh. Can you repeat it, please, Erica?
This question was like, I had to reread it about 15 times. How does holding fast to our energy intents and having disciplined attention to attention factor into scenarios where we are under attack with falsity, distortion, and lie?
Oh yes.
All right. So
Yeah.
we answered that question. Beena brought up the point with someone like Trump. That is exactly how, by attention to attention and holding and fast to our energy intent, to maintain our energy, to maintain our awareness, to maintain our goodness, and to not let things go, and to maintain goodness in the world. So it is simply that we are dealing with those type of issues through intent and attention to attention. Like I am making an effort to maintain my attention on K and K's health and well-being. And this we can do in similar nature on the intent for them to reveal themselves, to expose themselves, the intent to self-implode, or the intent to just disappear out of your life, or whatever. The intent to resolve, in other words, in ways which are beneficial for everybody. So there are some times where we don't have these specific resolutions. Attention is very, very powerful, and particularly with BMNs, they are finely tuned.
True.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Our energy intent too. Our energy intent here is to not give them energy, and that's of course what they are, and what they're after. They're energy vampires, right? So when we say nope, sorry, you're not getting no free energy from me, no bed buggery from you. Bed bugs are vampires too. You know that, right?
I like it.
And they are. They're vampires. So we are not going to be giving you any free energy. This is not part of the deal. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. And we pay particular
Okay, just to rephrase what Sil is saying, that the question was tricky. It was a bit tricky, that when it comes to, like, okay, pay attention to attention and focusing on our energy intent, and also in circumstances where the falsity and every in a bit chaotic situation, because it is really difficult to keep and maintain your intents when it comes to a bit chaotic situation, because the BMS is very create everything so grand. Like when they are just blowing up, they situation, and in that particular drama and all that, it is really difficult to pay attention to our attention, because by default it happens that all our attention goes to their drama and their false claims and all these things. But in those situations, it is very necessary to keep our attention to that where we are focusing on, not any particular thing, because it is really hard in those situations to keep our focus or our attention to where our attention is going there. So this was the simple trick in that question, I guess. And it is because it was a very big question. I might be like, I cannot answer this. If Sel was not there, it would be definitely difficult for me.
Yeah, this one just, a lot of these questions made me go, I need to think about this more. You know, nothing is coming up to me, and I really need to think
Good.
about it more. So
Good.
there was a lot packed into a lot of these questions.
Yes.
Yeah, they are good questions, but it's good. I like this, that we are dealing with them in this way. This is very powerful. This is very powerful. Very cool. Very cool. Very different way of dealing it. You know, many ways to deal with things. So I moved outside of the car. It seems like it's up in the connectivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you say that,
Find
something.
Always sounding really good, and then you'll say, oh, I think this is working, and then it goes so you know.
Okay.
A bottle in the tree.
A bottle. Okay.
I know, there's a bottle in the tree. Yeah. You see it there or no?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, just caught my eye. A little helium. So, they turn the weekend. Yeah, because the video does affect the connectivity a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just too brilliant. This is just too brilliant. You know, I absolutely love it. This is very cool. It's very cool. Is it just me, by the way, or Beaumont's a very exciting place? Even the parking lot is exciting. There's just energy here, and it's like the whole world comes through here. I don't know. There's just a moreness going on here. I know. I enjoy coming to Walmart, and even in the parking lot where I'm at now, you know, it's very exciting. Anyhow, keep going. What's the next one?
Okay, next one was, what can we do to preemptively protect ourselves against sabotage by those psychology? How can we leverage them using their desires? And the psychology that this was talking about was the like us against them and recruit people to gang up on you kind of a mentality. So yeah, I mean, the only thing that really came up for me on this one was just the same concept that we had been talking about in, I think it was the last session, and it's come up again here, that to not, that the less reaction you have when someone, you know, that the more reaction you have, the more that feeds their ego. So just
Yes.
protect yourself.
Yes. So you're saying it is essential that we understand the skill of de-emphasis.
Right.
It's a skill, and we have to practice it. When we can successfully de-emphasize, then they become a non-entity. They become a non-issue, and they go away.
Right.
It's astonishing. It's astonishing. It's the one thing they cannot deal with is death. It's the same with laughter. When you laugh, then they don't know what to do with it, because it's such a complete for dealing with them. Yeah. Very cool, Erica. Very cool. All right.
I love when the audio up after, like, there'll be a break in your audio and then it goes you have to be on point listening.
Yes. That's happening from the very first day. And I was amazed at how a person can talk really fast. Oh my God, it took me 2-3 days to understand that it is because of the delay and then how the buffering. And I was like, but his speech comes out really nicely, but just in forward. And I was like, how he can talk like this? I was so amazed by it.
But Beena, I can took breakfast, you know.
Oh, that was
I can took
nice.
breakfast, Beena. I really have
See?
to.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That was pretty
But I mute yourself, please.
Carry on, please. Please carry on. I'm just going inside. It might be quiet.
Okay,
Oh,
that was weird. The
yeah,
audio
it's
didn't seem
mute.
played. I could see that he was muted, but
Yes.
that was really weird. Okay, so all right, so that was the end of the questions that I hadn't answered, I think. So one of the questions I did answer was, how does quote out of their league factor into the us against them logic, and how can we leverage this to protect ourselves? And so I said, I have no idea where Sil. Oh, there we go. It went off. I have no idea where he is, where he was going into. So I said, this reminds